Okay, so what we've got going on here is we're doing an addition to an old historic house. We're basically like doubling the size of it. Yeah, why don't we go through the front and we'll just kind of work our way through that way. This is a house that was built in 1915. It has been modified since then. If you're coming in, the front door and everything like that. So basically what you see here, where the roof ends, the partial wall right, where the ladders are leaned up against and stuff like that, that's the original footprint of the house. So it was pretty small. It's been added onto, that may have been done in the 60s and stuff like that. So what we're doing is we're expanding the house, doubling the square footage of it basically. These 2x4 ceiling joists and rafter ties, we're going to be eventually replacing that, but from here over is going to be a second floor, open to the front, loft area that's going to continue through the roof, the current roof in the back of the house, onto the top of the garage. So there'll be extra rooms and stuff like that, you know, the kitchen and a bedroom and stuff like that. And so what we've done is we've come in, and if we come out through here, we added a master suite on this side. Over here is a new garage, 2-car-ish, I mean, well, depending on what size of car you have. We'll have an entry over here into the bedroom. This is the bedroom. This is the master bathroom with a shower and a vanity and a toilet and all that jazz. And then over here is a big old walk-in closet. Above this is just going to be attic space, storage and whatnot as needed. And then as you come through here, come out, and we've got a stair down to a kind of a little hallway where you can go into the garage. And then up this way will be a winding stair that goes up to the bonus room above the garage. This is kind of a much more involved addition in some ways. I'd say, honestly, this is probably one of the more technically complicated ones that I've done recently, mostly because we have so much different stuff to tie into. It takes figuring and sums and a lot of knowledge to tie into an existing house. Just, you gotta make sure that your walls and your ceilings match up and your floors especially, because if you go through and there's even just a little bit of discrepancy between floors, that ends up just making things a lot harder for when you come through to do finishes and stuff like that. You don't want to have a hump in the floor that you stub your toe on all the time. This one's, like I said, a little bit more technically complicated because with the original roof, what we ended up having to do is we put in our foundation that's all through here, that was poured before we got started, and then we had to go up and measure and transfer out, which we did using lasers, which is a wonderful thing. Lasers are amazing, best thing ever. They're gonna be huge. They are huge, what am I talking about? Anyway, so we figured out where our ridge line is, because the ridge line of the original house is kind of like a fixed point that we have to match up with because of how all the roof is supposed to tie together to keep the historical property commission happy. So we went from there, we ran our sums, and we figured out, okay, how high do we need our rear walls to be so that when our rafters come down at an angle, it lines up essentially at the ridge. It's gonna be a little bit funky on the outside because we have about 2 or 3 different pitches coming together. That's always just a lot more interesting when you have a steep roof coming into a slightly shallower roof, but math is my friend, and so we'll go with that. Original house foundation, there was a concrete foundation that had a cripple wall or a stem wall underneath of it made out of wood, and the entire thing was filled in with mud. It was just open studs supporting the house. So the homeowners jacked the house, put a new foundation in, dropped the house. We had originally anticipated on a higher stem wall, and so that kind of scrunched something. It's been this one was definitely more of a figure out as we go. In the design phase, we can figure, I wanna say, with a more modern house, you're able to get to like 90 to 95% of the way there because a lot of things are a bit more regular. This one, I think we got to about, I want to say about 75 to 80% of the way there. Other projects, other additions tend to go faster, mostly because they're usually single-story additions. They're run on far more recent houses, so it's easier for us to get pre-cut studs, for instance, so that our wall heights are exactly the same. With this one, it's taking us longer because there's just a lot of figuring going into that.
What are we scheduled for this one?
About 3 months. We've had a bunch of sick days this year, and that's kind of pushed us back. But David and I, the two of us, are pretty good at this, and we may not be losing a lot of time.